Could Drew Lock be missing time with the injury that he suffered in last night's preseason win over the Detroit Lions? We're going to break that down on today's show as you're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports, and I am your host, Marshall Green. Brian Daboll spoke to the media this morning and pretty much said that the Lock injury is a little bit more serious than we initially had thought. He could miss some time, and he did not rule out signing another quarterback to bolster that depth chart. Ian Rappaport also shared some shocking information. We're going to dive into that around the corner. But first, we are in a sub-battle yet again as the Giants are taking on the Houston Texans in preseason week 2. And I want to take down Jeremy Chuggs, my good friend and host of Texans Today, and subscribers picked up. So if you want free, informative, entertaining updates on the Giants, and when we get Drew Lock information, we'll give you that. And you want to beat the Texans this week, subscribe to the channel. Brian Daboll told the media today that it could be longer than a couple of days for Drew Lock and his injury, which forced him to leave last night's game against the Detroit Lions. Lock actually told, I don't remember who he told or where he said it, but I saw it on Twitter, where he said that if it was necessary, he could have came back into the game and continued to play, but he removed himself and the Giants removed him for precautionary reasons. But it sounds like it could be a little bit more serious. Ian Rappaport saying this just moments ago, quote, Giants quarterback Drew Lock is dealing with a bad bone contusion and strained oblique from last night's preseason game. He's expected to miss some time, but no surgery is required. Coach Brian Daboll said the New York Giants could potentially add another quarterback with Lock sidelined for a bit. And look, we know how Brian Daboll, Joe Schoen, and the New York Giants operate when it comes to being honest and forward with the injuries that their players suffered. Evan Neal was supposed to be ready for training camp. Evan Neal, according to Joe Schoen, was not that far off when training camp opened up. We're now 3 weeks into the training camp session. Preseason is here. We have not seen Evan Neal. They said the same about John Michael Schmitz. He hasn't practiced in 9 days. And with Brian Daboll saying that it could be more than a couple of days, that makes me feel like it might be a couple of weeks or maybe even a couple of months for Drew Lock. Not ideal. Not ideal that Lock, the guy you gave $5 million in guaranteed money to be your backup quarterback, gets hurt in the early part of the preseason. On top of the fact when he was out there, he was horrible. He looked not confident. He didn't look decisive. There was a lot of pitter-pattering going on in the pocket, just sitting there and waiting for someone to become wide open, where he missed Malik Neighbors a couple of times. So you couple the fact that he didn't play well, and now that he's injured, the QB2 job is up for grabs. And Tommy DeVito is going to go up there and grab it and compete and do whatever he can to win that job. When Drew Lock threw the interception last night, Tommy DeVito to himself said, you know what? I got an opportunity here. Then Lock goes down. DeVito is inserted. DeVito plays well. And now we are going to have a race and a fight for who that QB2 is going to be. I want you to decide who is the QB2. Who do you think should be the backup to Daniel Jones? Joe Schoen has only kept 2 quarterbacks since becoming the Giants general manager. Maybe he keeps 3 now. 15 for Tommy, 2 for Lock. Let me know your thoughts. Coming up right now, 3 quarterbacks that the New York Giants can go out and sign. Brian Daboll did not rule out going out and signing a quarterback if Lock is expected to miss time. They're going to have to, because I don't think you want to put Tommy DeVito out there for all of the part of the preseason. Maybe Daniel Jones plays a couple of drives in week 2 against the Texans, but you don't want to have to put DeVito out there the entire time and then risk an injury, and then your only healthy quarterback is Daniel Jones. So we're going to go through 3 quarterbacks I think they can sign, and then we'll go through the rest of the free agent quarterbacks that are out there. Maybe you think one of those guys is a better fit. P.J. Walker, the former 2020 XFL MVP. So we're looking at the XFL and the CFL. P.J. Walker actually has spent time in the NFL. He's been in the NFL for 4 years at this point. He was really good at Temple and then played for the Houston Roughnecks, I believe their name was, in the XFL, where he won the MVP. Last year, a part of the Cleveland Browns, ended up playing in 6 games. Didn't play all that well for Cleveland and actually got his start in the NFL with the Carolina Panthers thanks to his connections with Matt Rule, who was the coach at Temple when he was there. Walker just hasn't played that well in the NFL, but It's slim pickings out there. We're going to talk about slim pickings at the quarterback position in a second, but there's not a lot of elite players out there. Walker has at least been in the NFL. He's a free agent. Could be a guy that you just throw out there in a short week. Not that many great guys left. That's why we're talking about P.J. Walker and Nathan Rourke. We've got one more quarterback I think that could be on the short list of players the Giants are inquiring about. Then we'll go through 9 other free agent quarterbacks. But first, I got to give a huge shout out to our proud sponsor, Game Time. Shout out to Game Time, the #1 ticketing app in the world. Check them out. Open up your app store, download the Game Time app, create an account, use the promo code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase, where terms do apply. If you're looking to buy tickets to a Giants game, a Knicks game, a Mets game, a Yankees game, want to go watch the MLB before the summer's over, do it with our proud sponsor, Game Time. You get last-minute tickets, and the app is going to let you know when the best prices are going on. That's called a flash deal in their world. You get a view from the seat inside the app, and Game Time makes sure you get the lowest price guaranteed. My favorite feature, though, is the all-in pricing feature. That way, when you see that 4 tickets cost $100, you pay $100. You don't get hit with all the hidden fees that you do with all the other ticketing apps out there where you get added $200 to your total. That's why I am a Game Time user and Game Time only. I've been to concerts via Game Time. I've been to comedy shows. I got to go to the Home Run Derby, and I'm going to be going to some more Knicks games this year with Game Time. You can do the same. Download the app, create an account, use the promo code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase, where terms do apply. That is ChatSports. Promo code ChatSports, $20 off your first purchase. The only other quarterback that I really think makes a lot of sense for the Giants to go out and sign right now is Jacob Eason. And it's very similar as to why I think Nathan Rourke is a player that the Giants could go out and sign, is because of familiarity. Eason, if you remember last year, spent time with the Giants when Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor ended up being placed on IR. Remember, he was a 4th-round pick in the 2020 NFL Draft coming out of Georgia. He was a 5-star prospect in high school, 6'6", has a cannon for an arm, and he's been bouncing around the NFL ever since he entered. He unfortunately hasn't been able to find a landing spot and a permanent home. He spent time with the Panthers, Niners, Seahawks, Colts, and the New York Giants as of last year. Hasn't played all that much in the NFL, though. His career stats, 5 of 10, 84 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. None of these players are needle movers. None of these guys are going to be guys that end up making the Giants roster. They are a preseason arm and a guy that will be a camp arm as long as Drew Lock is sidelined with his injuries. Some other free agent quarterbacks that maybe the Giants could go out and look at: Feleipe Franks, last played with the Atlanta Falcons. A.J. McCarron, the Alabama man, the guy that's been everywhere under the sun playing for the New York Giants. Jeff Driskel could be an option. Maybe Tim Boyle. Matt Barkley has played with the Giants. That was with Joe Judge. Actually, I think that was with Brian Daboll. It was. Joe Judge was the other quarterback. That was, who was that quarterback? I'm blanking on the name at this point. Jake Fromm. That was Jake Fromm mixing up Matt Barkley and Jake Fromm. But Matt Barkley actually could be a pretty significant option, as he did spend time with the Buffalo Bills. Now that I'm connecting the dots in my head here, so keep your eyes on Matt Barkley. I almost want to say he spent time with the Giants last year. I should probably know that, but, I'm scatterbrained at this moment. Blaine Gabbert, another guy. Brian Hoyer has some connections to Daboll back on their days with the New England Patriots. Trevor Siemian. I don't think Ryan Tannehill is an option. I don't think he would sign with the Giants, as he knows he is probably just going to be there for a couple of weeks. Look, it's August. The NFL season's here. It's preseason. It is slim pickings out there for the quarterback position. I'm looking at Matt Barkley now that I'm connecting the dots. Matt Barkley, looking at P.J. Walker, Nathan Rourke, and Jacob Eason. Those are the 4 guys that I think are probably the leaders in the clubhouse to sign with the Giants if they go out and sign another quarterback like Brian Daboll mentioned. What do you think? What quarterback do you think the Giants should go sign if Drew Lock is going to miss an extended period of time? Can't even speak right now. It's embarrassing. Name a quarterback you want the Giants to sign. If you haven't yet, give me a follow over on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on IG at @MarshallGreen_. Appreciate you guys, and let's go Big Blue.